Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joey's Movie Vlog, and today it is that time where we talk about my complete Blu Ray collection. Now, there are going to be 4Ks mixed in here because I am a 4K fanatic. So, without further ado, let's get into this. First up, 2001: Space Odyssey, one of the greatest 4K transfers of all time. The Alfred Hitchcock collection, consisting of Rear Window, Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho, and The Birds. Rear Window is my all-time favorite thriller, and Psycho is my all-time favorite horror movie. Alien on 4K. Aliens. I really hope that despite this whole 20th Century Fox thing, we could still get Aliens on 4K to go with Alien. Ant-Man. Solid MCU film, not one of the best, but does it have to be? Apocalypse Now on 4K with all bazillion different cuts. Yeah, can't wait to check out all the different cuts. Aquaman, a guilty pleasure movie of mine. Got the 4K Steelbook. 4K is one of the best 4Ks I've ever seen. It's a guilty pleasure film. Arrival. Next up, we get into the Avengers films, starting with the Avengers, one of the greatest comic book films of all time, in my opinion. Avengers: Age of Ultron, a good but not great sequel. Avengers: Infinity War, man oh man, what a movie. And Avengers: Endgame, the 4K Steelbook, my favorite MCU film. Next up, we get into some B's. Baby Driver. One of my favorite Edgar Wright films. Back to the Future Trilogy, 1.21 gigawatts! One of my favorite trilogies of all time. Batman, the animated series, my favorite animated show of all time. Next up, we got this Batman pajama. All four of the original Batman films, consisting of Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin, of course. Next up, we get into one of the greatest trilogies ever made, Batman Begins. Fantastic film. The Dark Knight speaks for itself, and The Dark Knight Rises, underrated in my opinion. I am a Dark Knight Rises defender. Next up, we got Batman vs. Superman on 4K, a very frustrating film for me. There's aspects of this film I like, such as Ben Affleck as Batman, and then there's stuff like the Martha scene that is memed to death. All those 4Ks of the Batman films are fantastic. Next up, we got Batman Year One, solid flick with Bryan Cranston, aka Walter White, as Commissioner Gordon. Lego Batman movie, fun flick. I really love that film. Very interesting film, Batman Gotham by Gaslight. That was a very interesting film in my opinion. And then this film really let me down. Batman Hush, such a letdown. My favorite comedy of all time, Big Lebowski. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. Yeah, all-time favorite comedy. It's either that or Hot Fuzz. Black Panther, overrated and underrated at the same time, in my opinion. Next up, we got Blade Runner. Blade Runner 2049. Two of the greatest sci-fi films of all time. Breakthrough, have not seen this one. Captain America: The First Avenger. Captain America: The Winter Soldier, one of the best MCU films. and Civil War, another one of the best MCU films. That's my second favorite superhero trilogy of all time. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, fantastic. Christmas Story, Christmas classic. You have to own that. Next up, I have Daredevil Season 1, Daredevil Season 2. Daredevil's my all-time favorite superhero TV show. I think Season 3 is the best one, but that's not on Blu-ray. And Netflix, what were you thinking when canceling that? Anyway, Die Hard, another Christmas classic that you have to own. And that's my favorite action film of all time. What a story, Monk. The Disaster Artist. I need to get the Room on Blu-ray, but this is fantastic. Django Unchained, the Steelbook. I almost said 4K Steelbook, but that's something that I hope happens one day. But yeah, one of my favorite Tarantino films. And Dunkirk. Not one of my favorite of Nolan's films, but it's still great and looks great on 4K. Rule number 1 about Fight Club. Never talk about Fight Club. Oh, yeah, Fight Club's fantastic. Oops, I talked about Fight Club. Easy Rider, Steelbook. I've never actually seen that one before. E.T. Phone Home. Yeah, I got the 4K to this. Looks fantastic. Godfather Trilogy, 2 of the greatest films of all time. I've never seen the third one because I hear really bad things about it. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the best Western of all time. Goodfellas, probably my top 5 favorite films of all time. It's definitely my favorite Martin Scorsese film. I really hope The Irishman gets a Blu-ray release because I love that film. Grease. Don't ask why I own that film. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. 2 of my favorite MCU films. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. Yeah, my very underrated Tarantino film in my opinion. Heat, my favorite heist movie. Then Inception, one of my favorite Nolan films. Oops. Indiana Jones, The Complete Adventures. Yeah, some of the best action films of all time, or at least the first 3. I don't hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull like some people do, but I see its flaws. Inglourious Bastards, another one of my favorite of Tarantino's. Interstellar, a movie I did not like when I first saw it, but now I think it is a masterpiece. I cannot wait for Tenet. I'm a Nolan fanboy. The Iron Giant, Superman. Yeah, love Iron Giant, one of my favorite animated films. And then Iron Man 1, Steelbook, and Iron Man 3, just regular slipcover. I need to get this and Iron Man 2 on 4K. Probably will do that at some point in the near future. Okay. Jackie Brown, probably my least favorite Tarantino movie, but I still really love it. James Bond Collection, big James Bond fan. Casino Royale is one of my favorite action films of all time. And it is backwards here. Cannot wait for the new Bond film. I forgot its title. John Wick 1. Or John Wick's 1 through 3. One of my favorite action trilogies of all time, and of course you have to have the Steelbook of all 3 of them. Journey to the Mysterious Island. A friend got me this. I like The Rock's cheesy bad action movies. That is how I am. Jumanji. Yeah, I need to get the other Jumanji films. I know the new one's out. I haven't seen it yet. Jurassic Park, second favorite Spielberg film, right behind Raiders. Justice League War, and Gods and Monsters. Both better than the Justice League film we got in theater. Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2. Really fun movies. Kung Fu Panda. I need to get the other two. I love Kung Fu Panda. LA Confidential, one of my favorite films ever. Lincoln, really good movie. And one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Lord of the Rings. One ring to rule them all. Yeah, love Lord of the Rings. Then we got Mad Max Fury Road on 4K. Looks great on 4K, and this is probably my favorite action film of the decade. Honestly, might be my favorite film of the decade. Man of Steel, a very controversial film. I love Man of Steel. It's not my favorite Superman movie. It's one of the better films in the DC Extended Universe. It's my second favorite in the DC Extended Universe. The Matrix, one of the greatest 4K Blu-rays of all time. One of my favorite films, easily in my top 5. Then I got Men in Black Trilogy. Love the first one. Don't really care for the second one, and I really like the third one. And then Men in Black International. Mission Impossible Fallout. Naked Gun Trilogy. Nice Guys. Nightcrawler, my favorite film from 2014. And Night of the Living Dead, greatest zombie film of all time. Now we got my favorite film of the year, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love this film every time I watch it. It's one of my favorite Tarantino films now, and Brad Pitt better get that Oscar. And I got the 4K Steelbook with Brandy, the dog, on the back. That dog, man, when they released the character poster of Brandy, I'm like, why on earth does the dog have a character poster? And after watching it, I'm like, oh. The Outsiders. I remember I watched this film in 7th grade and loved it, and then a few days later after we finished it, I was at Walmart and I found this in the bargain bin, and yeah, great film. Next up, we have Paranorman, a fantastic film by a very underrated company. The Planet of the Apes 4K collection consisting of Rise, Dawn, and War. My favorite trilogy of this decade. Unless the Dark Knight trilogy counts as this decade, but that started in 2005. Point Break. Really fun movie. Hot Fuzz referenced it a lot. Detective Pikachu, or Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Yeah, this was a fun movie for me. I was a Pokemon fan when I was younger. I've grown out of it somewhat, but yeah, I still have nostalgia for Pokemon. Predator, my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger film, and of course, Get to the Chopper! Prestige, fantastic Nolan film. Again, I need to get Memento, Insomnia, and The Following. Yeah. Then Prometheus. Okay film. Pulp Fiction, my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. The Road. Rocky, my favorite boxing film. I think just about everyone's. Saving Private Ryan. 7. Best ending to a film, in my opinion. Shape of Water. The Cornetto trilogy, consisting of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and At World's End. Or The World's End. Yeah. Fantastic films. Very funny. Hot Fuzz is my favorite. Shawshank Redemption, one of the greatest films of all time. Shazam! My favorite DCEU film. Spaceballs. May the swords be with you! Love this film. It's one of my favorite comedies. The Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, yeah. Love the first two. Third one's eh. Into the Spider-Verse, my favorite Spider-Man film. Spider-Man Homecoming, great movie. And Spider-Man Far From Home, even better than Homecoming. Next up, we have Star Wars, the complete saga. Big Star Wars fan. Solo, Rogue One, the original trilogy and their specialized edition. So you got Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back is my all-time favorite film, and these are my holy grail of Blu-rays. Next up, we got some controversy. I own Force Awakens, and I own The Last Jedi. Why? I love the films, and I love The Rise of Skywalker. Sue me. Superman the movie. Superman and Shazam, The Return of Black Adam. Really fun Blu-ray to have. Taken. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you. Taxi Driver. The Bay Turtle films. Terminator Anthology, consisting of Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, The Rise of the Machines, and Salvation. I love the first two. I'm not the biggest fan of the other ones, and I have not seen Genesis or Dark Fate, but I'm curious to check out Dark Fate. I might get Genesis at some point, and I might get T2 on 4K, even though I hear bad things about the transfer. Thor Ragnarok, only Thor film I really like. Taika Waititi brought so much energy into this one. And then I got the Toy Story trilogy and Toy Story 4. I grew up on Toy Story. I'm still growing up on Toy Story. V for Vendetta, Watchmen, and Constantine. We'll get to Watchmen in a minute. V for Vendetta is a great film, and Constantine's pretty bad, but I get some enjoyment out of it. Walking Dead Season 5, I don't know why I only own Season 5. I might complete my collection on Walking Dead. Walking Dead, was at one point one of my favorite shows, and kind of went downhill after Season 7, and then it rose back up with Season 9, and I'm enjoying Season 10 so far. My favorite biopic of all time, Walk the Line. Watchmen on 4K. I read the graphic novel recently, and then it inspired me to buy the film on 4K. And yeah, I used not to really like the Watchmen film, but as I've matured and stuff, it's grown to become one of my favorite comic book films. I'm very curious to check out the TV show for Watchmen. West Side Story. Wonder Woman! Yeah, I need to upgrade this to 4K, because I bought this before I got a 4K TV and player. Yeah, I really like Wonder Woman. It's my third favorite in the DCEU. And then we're going to finish things off with some X-Men. I don't own all the X-Men movies, but I own X2, Best of the Original, the 3-pack consisting of First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse. Days of Future Past is a masterpiece, First Class is great, and Apocalypse is a disappointing follow-up. And then I got The Wolverine. I liked this film up until the third act. And Logan, my favorite of the X-Men films. And this was my favorite film of 2017. Looks great on 4K. I'm glad I got this steelbook to it. And this is actually my favorite steelbook. So, yeah, that's my collection. I know I've upgraded a lot of things to 4K. Yeah, I cannot wait to do this again next year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means a lot to me. I'm glad I get to share my taste in movies with you guys, and wanted to give a quick shout out to the person that is actually dropping his around the same time as mine, Ansel Hendricks. He is a good friend of mine, and cannot wait to watch his video. After you watch my video, go check his out. I'll leave it in the link in the description. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.